everyone, it's Ash from SuperVideos. Welcome back to the channel. In this one, we're gonna talk about 28 years later. We're diving into a fan theory that honestly blew my mind when I first read about it in the comment section. Shout out to account BrandSolo22 for dropping this gem. This is actually about something that was in the 28 years later trailer that might connect to a tiny, almost blink and you miss it moment from 28 days later, the very first in the franchise. Could they have planned this? Or are we just seeing Easter eggs everywhere? Who is Jimmy, and did we learn about Jimmy in 28 days later? Stay tuned, we'll be right back to break this down. Alright, as always, before we dive into it, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. With that said, let's dive right into it. Okay, so you all remember this scene in 28 days later, right? Jim, fresh out of a coma, is going through London and he comes across a bulletin board covered in pictures and notes from people looking for loved ones. It's one of those haunting little details that really hammers in the chaos and the heartbreak of the outbreak. Now apparently, brace yourself for this, there is a blurry split-second shot of a missing boy's photo, and based on the note, his name is Jimmy, an 8-year-old boy named Jimmy. Here's where things get interesting. If you've seen the trailer for 28 years later, you'll know there's a big focus on a flashback to a boy named Jimmy at the start of the outbreak. This kid seems to be caught in the middle of the chaos as everything goes to hell. And not only that, there's this whole cult that's apparently obsessed with someone named Jimmy. Coincidence? Maybe, but let's entertain the idea for a second. So the theory goes, what if this Jimmy from the flashbacks and the cult is the same Jimmy from the photo in 28 days later? Like, what if the writers decided to take that tiny throwaway detail and use it as a way to tie everything together? Maybe they were scrolling through 28 days later Easter eggs, or just rewatching before coming up with the story for 28 years later, and thought, oh, wouldn't it be wild if we built a whole backstory around this? It's definitely a stretch, but it's not impossible. Now, we don't know much about this cult yet, but we do know they're obsessed with Jimmy. Maybe they see him as a savior, or maybe he's become this mythic figure over the last 28 years. Either way, it seems like the writers are hinting that this Jimmy has some kind of a major significance. Whether that's because of what he did back then or because of what he represents to these people now, it doesn't really matter. And let's be real, the idea that the writers went back and pulled this random detail from 28 days later, even if it wasn't planned at the time, would be pretty genius. I mean, how often do we see franchises tie things together like this? It's like an Easter egg that got promoted to full-on plot point. We gotta keep it in perspective. This theory hinges on like 2 seconds of blurry screen time, and the fact that Jimmy is a pretty common name, it might be a bit of a stretch. So yeah, it's one of those where it could be a genius tie-in back to the original, or it could just be fans overthinking everything. But then again, isn't that what makes theories like this so much fun? Even if it's not true, it's the kind of detail that makes you want to rewatch just to see if there's something you've missed. So what do you think? Is Jimmy from 28 years later the same Jimmy from that photo in 28 days later? Did the writers plant this seed all the way back in 2002? Or is it just a lucky coincidence they decided to run with? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's keep this theory train rolling. And hey, if you've got more theories, send them my way. Who knows, maybe your idea will be the next one we dive into. As always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.